All right, we ready?
I'm ready.
This is BOBcast. BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
BuffaloBrotherhood.com.
Come on round, gentlemen. Sit next to the fire. It's time for a holiday festival. Welcome to a BOBcast Brotherhood, episode 87. This is the BOBcast. I'm Papa Parrot, and we're going to talk about holiday fixins.
Why are you being so creepy?
Is that creepy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the voice of Doug, and across the table is
Mike.
And we're all here with you today.
Come on round, children. Come
Papa
here to
Parrot.
Papa Parrot.
It does. Now that you say it like that, it does sound
Come
weird.
around.
We
Sit on
are.
this fire. Sit on my lap.
Nobody said that. Don't take it too far. 4 days' time will be my favorite holiday.
Your favorite? That's
Honestly,
a bold statement.
This is my favorite holiday coming up. It's I would say it's been hard for me to recapture the sort of the ambiance of my youth, but I'm excited this year because this year I'm holding it at my house.
Oh,
And I'm
You
very
are?
excited.
Really?
Yes.
all sides of the family?
stars have aligned. No, and that's what sort of makes this interesting. Gather round, children, as I'll tell you all about this year's Thanksgiving promise.
You know what's funny?
What?
You know what this title of this song is?
Gather round, children? I hope
A
not.
Teacher's Gift.
Oh, I bet it gets flagged on YouTube. But
If it does,
if it does, we just won't monetize it, and we'll be fine. But well, not that we monetize anything, because we never make any money off anything. But
how long is this?
I'm looking for Thanksgiving themed music, and it's
This-
really hard to come across.
Yeah,
It's the Peanuts theme, dude. The Peanuts theme is the ultimate.
that is true. I do.
You
When I
only
hear
get-
that, I do think, but we will probably get flagged for that. So
I'm sure.
Whatever.
But all right. So
Anyway,
we're the stars have aligned. My brother's a fireman, and he has to work on Thanksgiving, which some men in that line of work has too. So
yeah.
So my mother and then we have some family coming in from out of town. So my mother is opting to move her Thanksgiving dinner not on Thursday this year, which
Yeah.
is kind of blasphemous, but whatever. She's opting to move her Thanksgiving dinner to Saturday, which I think probably a lot of people do.
Yes.
A lot of people have had to do that before.
Yep.
It's interesting now that I'll have two of those feasts or dinners. And then my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they've always lived nearby, but they don't have a lot of extended family. And my brother-in-law has moved back into town, and then their sister, it lives all the way up in Wisconsin or something like that, or Illinois, and excuse me, into Illinois, right near the Wisconsin border. But she has her Thanksgiving traditions up there with her family, so they've always been sort of very low-key Thanksgivings.
Right.
And in the years that we've gone to both places, because typically what happens, we go to my in-laws and we go to my parents. In the years we go to both places, it's always been sort of, I've enjoyed it because you get sort of the reveille of one side of the family and then sort of the quiet, sort of peaceful reflection in the other side of the family. So it's been really nice for my kids to both experience both sides of Thanksgiving. But this year, because my brother's not going to be able to attend, and my in-laws have often requested that my wife make dinner so that essentially they don't. Not that they don't have to, but that somebody else takes on the burden of cleaning up and getting things.
No, I know
ready.
all about that.
So they've asked that we do that, and in many years in the past. So this year, it sort of all worked out that we could do that, and then now I can offer my parents a place to go as well on Thanksgiving. And my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is going to go over to her mother's house on Thanksgiving, which she hasn't been able to do for many, many years.
So what you're saying is you got room for two more?
Sure. You want to come over?
I don't know. You're making it awfully tempting.
You want to?
I don't know if my family's actually doing anything on Thanksgiving this year. So we're kind of.
Well, if not, let me know.
Yeah.
Come on over. Make some of those Scotch eggs, and you're in, man. Come on in.
I can do that.
No,
Mikey's like, can I come over?
Well,
I'll be there for those.
I assumed Mikey typically has a fairly large gathering at Thanksgiving.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to eat Scotch eggs.
Okay, yeah. This is Fallout 4 is still playing.
Yeah. It's Fallout 4 soundtrack.
Okay.
So you normally have a pretty big gathering, don't you?
Yeah, last year we had it here, and we're having it here at the lodge this year too. So it will be from Sarah's side of the family. It will be her mother, since her dad passed away last year, and then my side of the family, which is a lot bigger. It will be my mom, my dad, my stepmom, my grandmother, my grandfather, and then my stepmother's parents, her sister and husband, and my aunt with her children, my brother with his fiance and his 4 kids.
Yeah. So Mike's gonna have a lodge full.
Yeah, it definitely.
Which is great, and I think that's it's strange when you experience these holidays as an adult and as a child. Obviously you experience it both ways, but it is weird how the roles sort of reverse, and you see a little bit more how the sausage is made. As a child, it was just like, my cousins are all there and everybody's here and it's all great and it's amazing. As an adult, obviously you see the level of effort that goes into creating the food.
Oh, man.
And the money, the money. I always do a lesson the week before.
Money.
I always do a lesson the week before.
Give the man his money.
Give him his money.
I'm just gonna roll on through it, guys. You ain't phasing me. This is
Rounders.
my favorite holiday.
Rounders,
I know.
man.
Don't splash the pot, man. All right. I'm just saying. We always do a lesson.
Don't mess with the secret sauce.
All right, you did stop me. You derailed me completely.
No, talk about it. Talk about how the sausage is made.
But I'm just saying that when you see a little bit more about how it is, it loses a little bit its luster. It loses a little bit of its shine, and then you add like your family political issues and problems, and
you want to know what my problem is with it?
Yeah.
The situation is because last year was the first year I hosted. First year my grandma had not hosted. You know where grandma was every minute she was here?
in your
Kitchen.
Standing right over my shoulder wanting to know what the hell I was doing. She doesn't listen to the show, so I'm perfectly fine with talking about it. But she would not leave me alone. I said, Grandma, I'm fine. You can go sit down. Go talk to somebody. You need help in here? No. I'm working on the gravy. Let me make the gravy. It
Sounds like you should have let your grandma make the gravy.
Gravy was terrible, but we didn't even serve it. But the turkey was perfect. All these things, and it's funny because she's been on me. What is everybody bringing? What is everybody bringing? I'm like, Grandma, does it even matter? I just called her out. I said, does it even matter? Because you're just gonna make whatever you want to make, anyways, right? My brother, she knew my brother was bringing these noodles. She made noodles anyways. She knew my mom was bringing mashed potatoes. She brought mashed potatoes anyways.
Well, and let's just think about this for a second. Do you think there's a lot of, like, either A, does she feel guilty because she's not holding it at her house?
I don't know.
Is there like the...
No, I really
feels
think
like
she thinks
can't-
nobody else can cook it better than her.
Well,
She may be right.
I wouldn't say she's completely right, but she does some things that are fantastic.
One of the hard things for me is being someone that is known for hosting events.
That's true.
You're always under the pressure to make sure that you do at least as well and hopefully better than you did the year before.
Right.
So, once you take that leap into hosting,
Well,
you've done the birthday. You definitely.
Oh yeah, we do all this stuff. But I have a plan for Thanksgiving. This is not going to go well.
Tell us how it's not going to work.
This is not going to go well, and I'm completely okay with it.
Fill us in.
White plates and Dixie cups and
absolutely.
some hot dogs.
Absolutely. Well, for the kids, for the kids. But really, I'm a pretty good. Like I used to do the Sunday after Thanksgiving dinners. You know what I mean? That was when we both worked together.
Right.
That was sort of the deal I always cut with a lot of my staff. It'd be like, hey, if you work Thanksgiving, which is a pain because we work 24/7,
Right.
If you work Thanksgiving, and then that allows us to really free up our availability because we can cover for all these people on Thanksgiving. We can get coverage for Christmas and Christmas Eve, and that way we can be off a lot more during that holiday. So everybody works. Then I will cook a dinner on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and everybody can come. So I have a little bit of practice just with that.
Right.
But for me, a lot of it is more just I'm okay delegating. Like, there's no pride within me when it comes to something like this. So if my mother is to say, hey, do you want me to make the mashed potatoes, the green bean casserole, cheesy potatoes, the mac and cheese, the gravy, the sauce, the salad, and bring it?
Submarine sandwiches.
I'm going to say
hot subs.
Hot subs.
Yeah, can you grab a pie too? I mean, honestly, Mom, pull your weight. I'm fine with that. Mainly because they're going to do it better than I'm going to do it, and
I don't know. I was actually complimented many a times on my turkey last year.
That is the host.
Well, that's kind of the host
That's
responsibility.
the host responsibility.
But I'll tell you what,
you
my
provide
turkey-
the main meat.
But my turkey was better than any turkey I've ever had on Thanksgiving. To be honest, I was very proud of myself. Very proud of myself on my turkey last year.
I would say that you're probably right about your level of pride.
I'm sure.
We didn't get it, so we don't have any idea.
Yeah.
The only ways I ever fix a turkey is like in a bag in the oven with a little bit of flour. That's it. Mike, would you like to go into?
That's completely wrong, Ryan. With a little bit of
you
flour.
ate it? Did it matter?
I'm not a big turkey fan.
Yeah.
You've never had my turkey. Though.
I've had deliciously brined turkeys, and
not my turkey.
Well, then I'm coming here first.
Okay.
Thanksgiving Day.
Okay.
To eat a piece of your turkey, and then I'm going to Ryan's.
Sounds good.
Come get a piece of pie.
Courtney will be with me, so have 2 pieces of turkey ready.
Come get a piece of pie. I'm sure my dad's going to smoke some large piece of meat or ham or anyway.
Right.
That's sort of the thing. That's his hobby now. So
Right.
really, I'm thinking like a third of the size turkey that I actually need, and everybody will just eat the ham anyway. So I mean,
Yeah.
even though the main meat
I'm
is,
telling you, man, duck.
maybe I'll do turducken.
Go get 2 ducks.
Just do 2 ducks.
Do 2 ducks. If everybody else is going to be bringing a bunch of other meat,
How much is a duck?
about $15
For how many pounds?
like 9 pounds.
It's a duck.
It's a duck. So you buy 2
I
of
did
them.
like the duck that you served last year.
Yeah,
It was good.
You can't go wrong with a duck. You can't.
I would say.
Well, you can overcook it a lot easier, can't you?
I think that would be the only thing.
But it's pretty much like all dark meat. I mean, it's all juicy and succulent, and then you
Moist.
take moist, and then you take that delicious. The best part about it, you take that delicious golden duck fat, and you fry.
Didn't you make butter or something with that?
No, I call it duck butter. I mean, a lot of times I'll take whatever I don't use that day, pour it out and let it congeal.
Yeah.
And then whenever you need it, you just plop a few spoonfuls in, and it's duck butter. But you take potatoes. That's my favorite thing to do is you cook your duck, and then you take the duck fat, pour it in a cast iron skillet, get it nice and hot, and then I'll take like red potatoes and season them, salt, pepper, a few other rosemary, whatever seasonings, and then fry them in that duck fat.
Yeah.
There's no comparison. No comparison.
Well, it's interesting that I mean, Doug is selling himself short. I mean, I know he said he hosts things, but even though he's not hosting something on Thanksgiving, he's hosting a Thanksgiving dinner which we will get to attend.
The Chris Thanksmas.
So it's interesting. All 3 of us are at a point in our life where we're inviting extended family members and friends over to.
I just wish my house was bigger.
Don't we all though? That's really the reason why we haven't done anything like that in the future. That's why we've never really.
You've got a lot more room than I do.
You do have a lot more room than I do have a lot more room than you. But see, the most of my room.
I may have to put people outside.
Half of my house though is bedrooms. Is what because we have a ranch.
Yeah.
So seriously, half of my house is bedrooms.
Yeah.
Mikey has the best floor plan for this by
Right.
far.
You got a lot of space in your living area.
Yeah,
And
that's what we do. What will for Thanksgiving? What will happen is the dining area where we are now will turn into the buffet. All the food will be put in here. Desserts will be on the table. All the main food, everything will be put in here. The turkey will be in the kitchen and cut and sliced and ready to go. And then we set up 2 tables. We just push all the furniture to the side, and we set up 2 tables in the living room. Mm-hmm. The living room is big enough to seat everybody.
Well, see, and that's kind of what my wife and I were talking about. Like, if we're going to do this Thanksgiving, just guys, talk this through because I really haven't had a chance. I found out yesterday that this was going to be a sure thing. If we're going to do this the right way, or for Thanksgiving. That's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna move.
So how many people are you gonna have there?
Okay, well, let's talk this out here for just a second. So it'll be the four of us.
Let's get some good planning music.
Gather around, kids. It's time to plan my Thanksgiving dinner. Sit on Papa Parrot's lap and let's do this. So there's gonna be the four of us, my wife, my two kids. It's gonna be Doug and Courtney.
Like some Leroy Anderson or something like that.
Doug and Courtney will be coming in at some point, so we'll count them but not count them. So that's +2 there. But I got my in-laws. I got my brother-in-law and his daughter, and her daughter, and probably his daughter's boyfriend. So we're up to 10 right now for my wife's side of the family.
Right.
And then my side of the family, at this point, it's just my mom and dad. So we're talking 12 people. So it's not a lot.
Well, hold on.
Plus yourselves?
Well, I count the four of us first.
Okay. So just say 15 maybe.
So maybe 15. And my Uncle Ralph may come. It's just going to be depending a little bit what's going on.
And then me and Courtney.
So we'll say 15 people.
So
how many are kids?
4, 2, 3. 3 are kids. The rest are adults.
3 kids?
My
Your
two kids
is coming?
No. See, that's the thing. That's why we're able to host it at my house this year.
Last minute they'll change and they'll show
because he has to work. So my sister-in-law is going to take her and her kids to her mother's in Kokomo.
Yeah. Okay. So there's only 3 kids.
So it's my 2 kids and then their cousin Allie, who is my
there you go.
niece-in-law.
Got you set. You're gonna have to split. You're gonna split the adults.
Yeah.
You comfortable with doing that?
Well, sure, as long as
one table in the living room for the adults. One table on your sun porch for the adults. Yeah. Kids in the kitchen.
There you go.
Well, see, I think if
why do you need a table?
I think we don't necessarily, but I kind of wanted to. I wanted to do like.
You want to do the whole family together.
The whole family together. So I was thinking if I take a banquet table and my dinner table and then just move my sofa and put one long table in my living room.
Yeah.
That's pretty much 6 on each table.
You mean move your love seat out of the way?
Yeah, move the love seat out of the way. That's one long table there. It's over the carpet, but my carpet is atrocious. Anyway.
Okay.
We take my banquet table that we use at the birthday parties and my kitchen table and put the leaf in. Put it there. We can use all the countertop space in my kitchen as sort of the buffet area.
Right.
We can put a card table in the maybe not necessarily. I don't know where we maybe put it in Noah's room even because just the 3 of them, or maybe we put the card table out on the sun porch. That's what in the kitchen, and then the kids have a table because
you're gonna need a second table for food. Your countertop is not big enough for all the food.
You're gonna need you a table out there in your kitchen.
You're gonna need a table in your kitchen
to round out your buffet area.
Hey, I've got your door and your sawhorses.
I got plenty of doors. I'll just take the sawhorses. You can keep the doors. If you need them. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, that's possible. I could do that, and maybe set that up along the wall there in the kitchen.
Exactly.
And do it that way. But I just think it'd be interesting to have like, hey, dinner's at 5, sort of dinner's at 5:30, sort of thing. Everyone's there. Have everybody sit down, be able to say grace.
Dinner ends at 6:30. All of you GTFO.
Bring your Rubbermaid containers to take home leftovers. Except for that, I'm keeping that, and that I want that, and nobody's taking any extra deviled eggs.
I love deviled eggs.
But you can take all the cranberry dressing that you want.
Eat them when they're old, though.
I've never seen an old deviled egg.
I've never seen a deviled egg survive the day.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like leftover deviled eggs.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
There's just something about. I don't know what it is, but like, because I've gotten older,
it gets harder on the crusty on the
mixing foods has become like there's just something about it, like being able to take like even like taking a deviled egg, put it on the plate and cutting it in half and trying like a little bit of deviled egg with like
green bean
noodles or green bean casserole, like mixing those two things together has become like an interesting like science project to me.
You're like 10 years away from losing all your teeth and have to drink everything through a shake.
Yeah, it's possible, I guess.
You just prepared yourself for it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that it all tastes good. But no, I don't know if it's the mustard flavor in deviled eggs, but like that and like cottage cheese. It's weird to me what cottage cheese does to another food.
Like pineapple?
Like how it like calms it down or
peaches?
Creams it out. Like just sort of like makes it a little creamier or fuller. But anyway, that's way off topic.
Okay, old man.
But yeah, so I just think it'd be neat. I haven't had that since my grandmother passed away when I was in high school. Like
the whole family.
Well, the whole family that was there. You know,
Right.
I mean, obviously there's more family, but just everybody around one table with a kids' table, and we eating at this time. And,
Well, like when I
to the
grew
point that we sort of, eventually people start scooting back from the table and just, one more piece of pie or just talking with light music in the background or something. She always used to have a huge record player in the dining room. So, like, I guess in my mind, I'm just going to try to recreate that.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Now I get to sit at the dinner table.
You've hyped this up way too much in your head. You are going to come back next week and you're going to tell us how crappy this was. Actually, it'll be the day after, won't it?
Yeah.
You're gonna tell us how it
Black Friday.
It'll be good. Everyone will have a good time, but you will look back on it because I know you're gonna look back on it and go.
He's gonna analyze everything.
You're gonna tear it apart. You're gonna pick it apart in your head, and you're gonna go, "This was crappy. This was crappy. I'm never doing it again. This was the worst idea ever." But everyone else is like, "Oh, I had a good time. I don't know what Ryan's big problem is."
Why do you got to tear him down?
It's never gonna reach that mythical that idea he has in his head of his
Norman
childhood.
Rockwell, like putting the turkey on the table, like perfect
speaking
situation.
Of that, before Thanksgiving, will you help me put a new sink in my kitchen? Thanks, appreciate it. God. I still only we don't have enough water pressure. I need a new sink in my kitchen.
Is it the sink or the pressure?
It's the faucet.
We can do that. That takes.
Are you sure you just don't need to put something there to demineralize it?
We can do that one night. No, it needs replaced.
Yeah, it needs replaced. I need to figure out how to do that.
That sink I got was really
what?
nice.
It's not. What do you mean you got to figure out how to do it? I've got the plumber's tool. We're all right.
Oh, well, Mike's gonna help me.
We're gonna do it Sunday.
Sunday night. Okay.
There you go.
All right, I'll write it down.
I
like having those sort of things because I'd be like, I would do it, Angie, but Mike's coming over. We got to fix that sink you want me to fix. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about though. Like growing up, we would always go to my grandmother's side of the family, the Sharps, for Thanksgiving, and then they would do a Thanksgiving dinner, and that would actually be, I think, on Thanksgiving Day. And I mean, it literally, my grandmother had 11 brothers and sisters, so all of their families would show up and it would literally be like, we got to the point where we actually had to rent the Lake Placid Center because there was that many people that would show up to it. So as a little kid, you'd go there and it'd be 70
20 kids.
So yeah, it'd be like 20 kids there, and of course I was always the one wanting to sneak in with the adults to try to. I always thought the adult conversation was better than the kid conversation, but because I was old.
Big surprise.
But I understand what you're saying is you have those memories of there being, all these people and
just imagine like 6-year-old Doug walk in with like coffee cup. So Bob, did you get those TPX reports turned in you were talking about over last Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
How's the job going?
How's the job?
How are the kids?
Can you believe the gold market these days?
10-year-old Doug walking in like that. How are the kids?
Did you see what Gorbachev said in today's paper?
I can't believe you voted for Dukakis.
Yes.
You really need to take that bumper sticker off your car.
Yeah.
A little Reaganite running around.
Yeah.
Go for it. All right. But yeah, you want, like, I don't know if I necessarily want it for me, but I want it for my kids. I want to recapture sort of that memory. Honestly, I have this conversation with my wife more times than probably I should. Like whenever she whips out like hamburger helper for dinner, I'll just be like, you know what? When the kids come home from college,
Right.
what are they gonna want? Hey, Mom, can we have corn dogs out of the freezer tonight? Man, I'm starving. Or hey, Mom, can you whip out another hamburger helper? I've missed it so much since I was at college. Can you? I mean, hey, I'm gonna bring my roommate home for the weekend. Can you guys do me a favor and warm up some of that wonderful microwave macaroni and cheese? like what's gonna be our thing? I don't know what it is. There's not, like, I cook a lot, like I make a lot of things, but then when I also like sort of think back to my mom, it's like it's chicken noodles. It's the big meal.
Different times. Really, if you think about it, in my mind, maybe it's just my mind, but I feel like we're kind of at that cutoff generation of where that was the normal. Families got together
Right.
for the holidays. Regardless of where you were at, you went back to the homestead for all of the important dates. And America was not to the point where we were so fractured where people had to, you just had to move. People have had to move further and further and further away from that homestead, and families don't have that same big cohesiveness
Right.
of the big reunions, the big Christmas, the big Thanksgiving. So, I think it's good that people are trying to get back to that.
But do you think what's going to happen is, and because I think that's always the case, is that, we look back on our grandparents and that was the case, but our parents really didn't have that for us. So we want to do that for our kids, and our kids get basically the same feelings that we had from that situation. So it's kind of this revolving where it's always like that same mentality. It's like when you look back at like the generations comparably, like, because generations always seem to admire their grandparents, in that situation. So like our generation, our grandparents were, some of them World War II veterans, stuff like that, where we're going back to that point. There's a different mentality, and that kind of grows into us, and the same idea where our parents were looking back at their grandparents and it was a little different mentality. So
maybe, and then
you get what I'm saying. I'm not explaining it very well. I don't think.
No, I think so, and because we're looking at our grandparents, the people that were setting those tones, and our matriarchs and patriarchs of our family as we were growing up.
Right.
They were members of they survived the World War II. They survived the Depression. They survived it. Where like my kids as grandparents, who are my parents, they survived the 60s.
They didn't survive the gas shortage of the 70s.
Like I would honestly say that though I love my parents very, very much, I don't know that they I can just tell you they did not go through the same things
the baby boom generation.
Yeah, right. That my grandparents have gone through. So I think their concept of things are a little bit different. But I'll be honest, like I'm a horrible family person. Like I just am. Like Mikey called all that stuff out before. I overanalyze things. I think things too much. I get too concerned and wrapped up in small detail things. So like even being around my cousins sometimes can be a source of anxiety anymore that I don't have before. So even though I've wanted to have. Like, if I had your house, there's no way I would have ever had any of the parties that you had, because the size constraints would have terrified me.
But we have a great time.
We always do. I know, and that's kind of what I'm trying to go with this.
Because he builds a massive plate of food, and everyone enjoys it, and then no one looks at the small details.
That, and plus about half the people are smokers, so they're just like, you fuckers, go outside.
Or if they're not smokers, they're snockered and they have no idea where they're standing anyway.
That's not true. I don't do that until after I eat.
There were a lot of people in that house, but I do a good job of trying to set it up, and we're actually talking about rearranging the house. Actually, where we have our bedroom, because we only use the bedroom obviously for certain activities.
Sleeping.
Sleeping.
You just cussed 2 minutes
You're not
ago.
married.
Take it too far.
You're not married, so sleeping.
Yeah, for sleeping. But actually, the computer room, it's big enough to just move the bedroom stuff in there and free up that other front room.
It is?
Can you take the wall out?
Yeah.
It's big enough to put a bed in there?
Can you take the wall out?
I measured last night. Huh?
Can you just take the wall out?
So can you just put the bed in there? You can't get beside it?
No, there's about a foot extra space.
On each side?
On one side.
There's not even room for a nightstand.
It's just, you were going to stub your toes so many times.
No,
he will just interject the bed from the...
No, just on the... You can go in from the front. So, that's what we're talking about. But the problem is it's got that huge closet that's built there. So
take it out.
If I took the closet out, I'd have an extra, like 2.5.
You wouldn't have to take the closet out. Just take out the wall, the framing for the closet, and then you could put the bed long ways there. Maybe.
You might be able to. So
measure that out.
Be an interesting little hutch.
I'll come down and help you demo it.
Yeah. So I mean,
after he helps me fix my sink.
Right.
Get in line, big boy.
It's either that or we're moving Courtney, because we took the whole back room. She put her made that her little area back there, and I
Right.
told her, I'm like, well, I don't know how that's going to affect, our parties. So she's like, that's all you think about is the parties. I'm like, no, that's not all I think about, but
Yeah, I think about what we use the bedroom for too.
yeah. So, but I'm just thinking, when you have a smaller house,
Right.
you got to think about how do you maximize the useful space. So, you can, if you're smart, you can make room.
You could honestly change your living. Okay, if you move the bed like that.
Yeah.
Welcome to Home Furnishings
Yes.
Weekly, everybody. This is podcast 87.
It's for the Chris
I
Thanksmas.
know, but I'm like, if you actually do clear those two spaces out, you could take your living room accoutrements and move those into the bedroom space, and then put like a larger table space in your current. It'd be like a dining room leading into the living room. It might be weird you walk into the dining room every time when you come in from the front door, but I just thought there'd be more of an extenuation.
Well,
of the
basically, what it
kitchen.
would be is the living area would we'd move the TV into that smaller room, and the living
Right.
area would just be like a sitting, entertaining area, and then the smaller room would be because my grandma is actually getting ready to get she wants all new furniture. So I'm going to probably inherit like two
All new
large
furniture.
recliners and another couch. So
It'll be time to get rid of the 2 couches that you have.
I'll have plenty of
You guys
space.
will have your own seats. It'll be so cute.
Be like,
You guys have your own little. You'll have your
Yeah.
your chairs.
it'd
that
be
are
like
cool.
up,
Like
be
up.
like up.
Be like up. Yeah.
To give a real small chair for Courtney
Yeah.
next to your really wide chair.
Yeah. So, we're talking about it, but
It's fun.
I'm just,
Again,
Welcome to home time.
After he helps me with my sink.
right.
Um,
But anyway, it's all about creating the atmosphere.
Right.
there's a whole tiny house movement, Doug. You're just on the edge of the movement.
You
I'm
are.
not. I'm wanting to go the opposite
I think-
direction
I
of
think-
the tiny house.
I think you're about 40 square feet from being categorized as.
no, it's
You
like
take off
about-
your utility room, you are a tiny house.
if you pulled the back end of that off, that whole backside, yeah. But I'm like right around. I think it's like 980ish.
So here's what
Square
you do.
feet.
Here's what
That's
you
all
do.
right.
You well, never mind. I'm just gonna- Well, you fix up. You continue to fix up and work on your house,
Yeah,
and then you just rock paper scissors grandma for her house,
we've actually talked about that.
and then
Flipping.
Well, actually, my uncle bought the original homestead. Right next to him is actually where my grandma and grandpa raised my mom and my 2 uncles. That small white house.
Right.
Actually, she's talked about moving back into that house right next to him, which is just right down the alley for me. Instead of being right next to me, going just down the alleyway, because it's a small, single-story house.
is that where they
Kirkwood
stayed?
Corner,
Is that where
yeah.
they stayed?
Who?
Your aunt and uncle, or do they still live over there?
No, they still live in that big house right up on on Mill
right
Street.
right next to Hoover Park.
Right, they live in that, but the one right behind it, they bought that house.
Okay.
So they fixed it up, and she could move into that house, and then we could move into my grandparents, which is a much larger house, to
Yeah.
say the least. So
With a continuous water heater.
with a continuous water heater,
Yeah.
What?
what are you talking about?
Your grandparents' house has a continuous.
No, they
water.
got rid of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went back to a tank because
Oh.
that one, they got that when it was very first,
Yeah, I just remember
when they
don't
those
last
very
that
first
long.
came out, and it
They don't last that long. They're only rated to last almost like 7
that
years.
thing, it could barely keep a lukewarm shower.
Yeah.
So again,
I just remember when he was installing it or having it installed. I was like, that is amazing. How come no one's ever thought of that before?
And that's why.
yeah, but I'm sure technology's gotten better.
Right.
But anyway, now that we've gotten through that,
So yeah, so Thanksgiving here, Thanksgiving at your house, and then your.
I don't know what I'm doing
Thanksmas.
yet.
Well,
I'm doing my Chris Thanksmas
We'll count as
and-
your Chris Thanksmas as your as
Yes.
your Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a conversation I like to have with my students. So I'll just sort of start it there. It's interesting, depending on the different socioeconomic areas in which I've taught.
Okay.
The responses that come out. But
So ask us.
what is the staples at your Thanksgiving dinner? What are the foods that have to be there? And I'll sort of preface this to be like, it's been interesting to see that over the years that Oreo cookies come up more times than not when you're asking groups of 9 and 10-year-olds what they look forward to the most at their Thanksgiving dinner. Which I was always blown away that Oreos somehow make it to the list.
You took mine.
There's a subset of American culture apparently that Oreo cookies, America's most favorite cookie, only has a place at dessert for Thanksgiving. But
Huh.
Well, I'll tell you, Carissa
Oh man.
makes these Oreo ball things. Freaking amazing.
So good.
Freaking amazing.
But would you say that's a staple? Like, if it's not there, does
Well,
it
not
not
yet.
feel like Thanksgiving?
Not yet.
No, it's not a staple.
Okay, so what? Let round out my 7 entree, my 7 meals. So we know there's gonna be turkey. We know there's gonna be ham. So
Right.
what are my 7 sides I need? Like, or
Stuffing.
seven might be too much, but we'll try
There's
7.
a specific stuffing that, and it wasn't a staple until I met Sarah.
Stovetop?
No, Beth.
Cranberry pecan
her-
stuffing.
Her mother makes this.
Cranberry pecan stuffing.
No, it's raisins and stuff.
I
in
thought it was cranberries. But yeah, okay.
No, it's raisins. I gotta think about all the stuff that's in it, but it is so good. I love it, and she's gonna make it this year, and it has turned into a situation where it's not Thanksgiving unless I have that now. So that stuffing specifically is very
So,
good for me.
well, let's just say stuffing in general.
Yeah,
Because
stuffing.
I remember growing up, my grandmother's from Alabama, so we always had to have 2 pans of stuffing: an oyster stuffing and a regular
Oyster
stuffing.
and not. Yeah,
And we
and
talked-
I will have both of those as well.
We
because
talked
my
about
mom wanted
that stuffing versus dressing.
Yeah.
But it's the same name for the same thing.
One's cooked inside the bird, one's cooked independently.
Right.
Right. So, mashed
So
potatoes,
stuffing, mashed potatoes. Okay.
Okay, what kind of mashed potatoes, though?
just white Idaho.
Is your family a smooth mashed potato,
Yeah,
or are they a chunky?
That is
Mashed
that is
now-
a debate that has raged since I was a child. in my
I'm
own
a little
household.
bit of chunk in mine.
I'm on the exact opposite end.
I'm with you, Mike.
You want a puree?
I
potato
love it.
So to me,
I mean, I like chunky, but if I have my preference, I love the nice, silky, smooth.
So to be honest, like to me, this is the dressing
Moist.
versus stuffing.
Moist.
There is
Moist.
mashed potatoes, which I like mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And then there are whipped potatoes. I'm not a big whipped potato guy.
Yeah.
Because I think my mashed potatoes should have enough
you want to know?
body to hold the gravy.
You want to know the secret to a perfect mashed
I
or
have,
whipped potato?
I have it. I have one.
A whip?
I'll tell you what
Don't you
mine
have to
is.
push
I'll
it
tell you what
through,
mine
uh,
is.
I don't boil my potatoes. I cook them in the oven.
Oh.
Cook them in the oven, just like you would a baked potato. Bake your potatoes in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
Peeled.
Peel them off, and then do that. Because you don't get that extra water content from the boiling of the potato. It's so much better.
Look at
Sounds much better for you too, but I just go with the heavy cream instead of the
Well, yeah.
butter. Instead of the butter and the milk, go with a really
So we'll
heavy
say
cream.
so mashed potatoes. We're going to
that's-
use the generic
That's
term.
what I do. I do the potatoes, the heavy cream, the butter,
Real butter.
real butter, and I will make my own butter for
duck butter.
no real butter.
Oh yeah. See, I knew you made your own.
No,
butter
I do
for
make my
something.
real butter typically for that time of year. But take my own real butter and use my KitchenAid, and I make them in the KitchenAid blender that way. And then use the kosher salt. And the secret is to use white pepper instead of regular pepper.
It's like a Welsh joke. It's like a Mike Welsh joke. It's always gonna be white pepper. The way you.
No, the white pepper tastes better.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with the taste. Just so you don't see it, isn't it? Just because you.
No, I think it tastes better.
Okay, all right. Stuffing versus dressing.
So turkey,
All right.
stuffing, mashed potatoes,
we're not counting turkey.
noodles.
Turkey and meat we know is there.
A noodle.
Noodle. Okay. Beef or chicken or turkey.
Chicken. Well, none in it. Cooked in chicken broth. Reams noodles.
Homemade noodles.
Yeah, the
Probably-
homemade style noodles, not the egg noodles. Like not the curly noodles.
You have a noodle. They
Ream-
gotta be like the
Reams,
flat.
The Reams
super.
frozen noodles.
Oh, I make my own noodles.
Yeah, homemade.
Well,
noodles.
I've made my own noodles. That's what they taste like. Is homemade noodles. The Reams do.
Okay.
the Amish. We call it. So if we're buying bag, we call it the Amish.
Do you like
Frozen
a
ones?
thick noodle or do you like super thin?
Thick.
almost like a
Almost
dumpling?
a dumpling.
So you like it?
Yeah.
You really like the chicken and dumpling then.
Yeah, but
So
But
It's
in this
noodle.
case, I don't want chicken chunks. I want just the noodles.
We do chicken chunks.
Yeah.
And I would say not a thick noodle, but I mean, I don't know, like it's
I guess
less
the
than a
noodle-
quarter inch.
I like
the
I like
noodle
thin.
doesn't matter as much as the flavoring with it.
I like
because
thin.
I don't know. I
don't
both.
like the problem when you get too
Yeah, I'm-
big
I'm
of a
not gonna
noodle
say
is they
no.
can get. The
I-
problem is they
They
can
get
get
sticky
doughy.
and
Yeah.
gummy. Yep.
chicken noodles. Yes.
I
I
if
don't
you-
care what kind. Yeah, I'll put them
we're
with them.
we're very much. There's a debate raging again in my household between chicken noodles, which is what my mom has always made,
Right.
And since my
And
dad
beef
is
and
now,
noodles?
since my dad is now fired up his cooking prowess, he now whips out a beef and noodle almost every time. So we're getting like,
For
I don't know,
me-
guys, we can't decide. You have to keep making both of them.
Yeah. For me, a beef and noodle is it's so filling. It's almost kind of you have to have that of its own standalone
Yeah, I would agree.
meal.
So we have noodles, green bean casserole.
No,
That's what I always make.
hate it.
I like green bean casserole.
How can you hate green bean casserole?
I'm putting it on the list.
I don't like it.
What, you don't like?
I like green beans.
You don't like mushroom soup?
I like cream of mushroom soup in other things. I just put it in the green beans
And the
together.
onions.
I think I'll be honest. I think I've been guilty of putting too much soup before. I think I'd like to try maybe a green bean casserole,
Right.
instead of such the soupy casserole, or maybe layering in a thinner pan and then maybe cooking it out a bit more. Give me more of a crunchy top, but I don't know. Yeah, green bean casserole has to be there.
Nope.
Mac and cheese, homemade mac and cheese.
It's not
One
a
thing that-
staple for me.
I
I look forward to it.
typically see it at a Thanksgiving.
A larger Thanksgiving thing, yeah. A smaller family thing, no.
One thing we always have is sweet potato casserole
Yeah, well, yams,
or
candy
yams, sweet potato casserole, whatever.
So sweet potatoes.
with the mushrooms on top,
Mushrooms
or with the marshmallows on top.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't do that. We would put the crumble with just
Brown sugar.
walnuts, the butter, brown sugar, flour
Oh,
crumble.
that's pretty
Basically,
But no mushrooms. That's gross.
I know. Marshmallows,
Yum.
That sounds disgusting.
mushrooms and yams.
Yeah.
I'd eat it.
That doesn't sound good at all.
I'd eat it. I like mushrooms.
You know. Speaking of sweet potatoes, if you get a chance, go to Brothers down in the village.
Yeah.
They have sweet potato tater tots. Delicious.
We have those at school. They
They're
are
so
delicious.
good.
They are delicious.
So good. So we got sweet potatoes, deviled eggs.
Yeah, but I don't. That's not a side item though.
It's not.
That's like an appetizer.
Deviled eggs are an appetizer.
If you set them out early,
Yeah,
they are an
they
appetizer.
they wouldn't be. They wouldn't be.
I'm not eating enough. I mean, I'm eating too many deviled eggs as is, but I don't.
Okay.
That's like your cheese ball. You have your cheese ball out. You have your deviled eggs out.
Your pickles.
Your pickle
Your
tray. Your
relish
little
tray.
cheese. Your little cheese tray.
Okay. So we have
cheese.
stuffing, mashed potatoes, noodles, green bean casserole, sweet potatoes,
Cream corn casserole,
cream corn casserole.
or just corn casserole. My wife just vomited in her throat. By the way.
I like corn casserole. That's like the cornbread casserole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So corn
that's my
casserole.
favorite. I love that stuff.
That didn't make it into mine until I don't know when people. As a kid, I don't remember corn.
Maybe you
casserole.
just didn't
Really?
like it, or think you.
No,
didn't
I've
like it.
always loved corn.
We always had a sweet corn of some kind. Either sometimes
yeah.
it'd be in the casserole or it would just be
Just
Pan
corn.
fried.
freezer
That's what
corn.
I always remember. Is
Freezer
just
corn,
corn,
pan-fried
like
corn.
frozen corn. You know, like
Yeah.
being cooked up. So corn of some sort.
Sure.
corn of some sort.
That's pretty good for me. I mean, honestly, that's more than enough food for the people that are coming to my house. But like, so maybe some more non-traditional staples or things you might see around, still like salad, tossed salad, or
Chips.
some chips and dip, or just regular chips. Avocado dip seems to make it everywhere. Or guacamole dip seems to make it all of our family
I do
functions
like a
now.
good guac dip.
Not
Not necessarily. I would eat it. Don't get me wrong.
But I think it's more of an appetizer
You got
situation.
so excited. I would eat it, but
I think it's more of an appetizer situation, sort of like with the cheese ball. It's like if it's there, people will eat it beforehand. But
yeah. So
I don't think anybody's putting it on the side. But like a 7-layer salad, taco salad, or 7-layer dip. That seems to be
7-layer salad. Yeah, my mom makes a mean 7-layer salad.
that's become pretty popular with sort of these, buffet bulk carry-ins.
So I think we're good. Stuffing, mashed potatoes, noodles, green bean casserole, sweet potatoes, corn casserole. What else are we missing on staples for the main dish? Like
I'm saying nothing, dude. I'm starving.
We with ham, turkey.
I said the meat. We don't count the meat.
Well, we would quite often, being hunters,
Have venison.
have a smoked leg, a hind quarter or something. Yeah, venison. Something like that. So
Okay.
yeah,
So a staple meat of some sort.
staple meat.
But then, the Scotch eggs have sort of come in, and that they're really good. I wouldn't say they're a staple, but it's something that people look forward to.
I don't look forward to them at any of my family gatherings. I look forward to them at Doug's house.
Pasta salads, more your cold Italian or Greek salads. Those are possibilities to be there, but I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Not a staple though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like there's some.
Oh,
other
they
foods that
were at our house. There
sort
was
of
always
round out.
there was always a pasta salad.
There's always at my mom or my grandmother's house. There was always a sort of a pink fluffy salad, or even a green pistachio sort of salad. Cranberry salad.
Oh, my grandma makes. That's
Yeah, we didn't
that's
say
one that's a
cranberries.
staple on my Waldorf salad.
Waldorf
with the
Waldorf is
apples,
good.
the apple and stuff.
Pineapple. Does she put cheese in it or not?
No.
Oh, you gotta have the
cheese chunks.
the blue cheese in it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a Waldorf salad. It's like an apple salad thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's different.
Well,
versions.
but that's just a takeoff of that, I believe.
Yeah, isn't all the Waldorf salads.
Seafood. You guys ever have seafood in any of your stuff growing up?
When I was
No, not really.
when my aunt would come to some of them and she would bring, and they would have a shrimp cocktail appetizer thing, like something like that.
Was
but it would be
cream
the package.
cheese?
No, it would have the red, just the shrimp cocktail sauce.
I remember when I was a kid growing up, there was some of that, some like the peel and dip, like raw shrimp sort of
Shrimp's
thing.
just so ridiculously expensive now.
But then there would be this other thing, which would be like you'd eat it with crackers, but it would be that cream cheese cover the whole bottom of the cookie sheet. Then you'd put like the red sauce, the shrimp cocktail sauce, and then you'd get the little bitty baby like peel or little bitty thin small piece of shrimp, and you would sort of layer the top of it with the shrimp, and you just eat that with like a cracker. Oh, it was amazing. I wonder if that recipe's out. Like I should make that for my parents this year.
I'm trying to think if there's anything special that it's not really the food as much.
Which house am I in?
Huh?
Whose house am I in? Because you didn't say baked beans one time.
Because it's not a staple for any of the things other than carrying them to your house. But it's funny because it's and here's one that for you guys to think of: mashed potatoes. When the person that made the mashed potatoes for your family, was it always in the same bowl? I own my grandpa's mashed potato bowl. I have it. It's this plastic bowl that's like from the 70s, and it's got this print in it, and it was the mashed potato bowl.
I would say that most of my life, our mashed potato bowl at home was this glassware with the yellow outside. When my mother got her KitchenAid mixer or whatever,
right,
our mashed potato bowl has become the large, like,
metal bowl?
steel metal bowl
right,
that comes with that. And now that the old mashed potato bowl has become the potato salad bowl that she makes potato
yeah.
salad.
Oh yeah.
We typically
Your
had
mom's potato salad is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
She does a pretty good job with it.
You miss at most of the birthday parties that she'll bring it.
I know, I had some.
It'll be pizzas everywhere, and every time I turn, who made this potato salad? This is fantastic. And then his mom, she just loves it.
My father-in-law is hilarious. He's like, I don't know what it is about that potato salad, but like he will come to family functions only if the potato salad will be
It's
there.
so good.
He says it's like his mom used to make.
There's your potato puree because it's the creamiest potato salad I've
Well, I
ever
think
had.
that's why I think that's what sort of makes it different is because she uses mashed potatoes to make the potato salad.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to the smooth or the chunky.
It's a smooth.
Don't
Smooth
look
and
at me with
chunky.
those eyes when you say smooth or chunky. So that's our main stuff.
What
Right.
about balsamic roasted Brussels sprout?
Dessert.
Desserts.
My
Desserts
grandmother
are
used to
important.
make a blueberry
The dessert.
pie.
The dessert was always the
Yeah.
pièce de résistance or
She
whatever.
used to make a blueberry
So
pie. that
blueberry
was
pie.
absolutely phenomenal. First time I ever had mincemeat pie was at Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't know what it was,
I don't think I've ever had mincemeat.
Really?
but it tasted like plum. Maybe
Yeah.
it had a plum flavor to it. But I ate it and I thought this is amazing. And then
does have-
somebody was like,
Like
"There's
it has
real
like
meat."
I think there's apples in it as well and raisins.
It's like apple butter.
It has real meat in it, right?
Yeah, it does have
Because
real meat.
they started at the Meyer Deli. They have mince meat there at the deli.
Typically, I mean, it's
Around this time, it
it's-
starts coming out.
it's what I call it's one of the old people flavors that have fallen out of style
Kinda
in
like
the modern
rhubarb.
in the rhubarb.
That is not an old person flavor. You take that back.
What, rhubarb?
I love rhubarb.
I love
But most
rhubarb.
people today, when you say pie, they're like, apple, pumpkin, that kind of stuff. But then they're like, ooh, I like the Hershey, this kind of, when they think of the pies you buy in a store, all of those
What-
other.
how fake. As somebody who loves pie, I'm offended by that.
I like rhubarb pie.
love rhubarb pie. Rhubarb
Of course,
custard
around
pie.
here, the pie of Indiana, the sugar cream,
The sugar
which
cream.
is
My
one of my
mom
least
makes-
favorite
My
pies.
mom, I'm not a big sugar cream guy because I'm a pumpkin guy. But pumpkin, there, let's put it down. Pumpkin pie
I don't know. Like I'm
with
like
a huge pile of Cool Whip on it. More Cool Whip than pie.
more plastic than pie.
I prefer to make my own whipped cream.
Yeah, whipped cream.
I like Cool Whip on it.
I like that coconut oil in it.
It's delicious.
I'm not huge on pumpkin pie right now. I don't know if it's just because
Did you?
it's in the can. I've never. I don't know anybody that makes a real pumpkin pie anymore.
My aunt does. She makes a good real pumpkin pie.
Actually, get the baking pumpkin and
Right,
then
right,
do it
right.
completely from scratch. It's because it takes so freaking long to do
You want
it.
something that's
And the
delicious?
can's
Listen to this.
good, but
If you get a chance, don't get a big one. Get a small one. I will guarantee you only get a small one. The pumpkin pie shake at Arby's is so freaking good. It tastes exactly like a pie with Cool Whip on it. I'm not joking. It is.
I believe
so
you.
rich though. You can't drink even a whole small one.
I'm not a
But it's-
huge
but it's
pumpkin
so good.
fan.
neither am I.
I'm not like a pumpkin spice
I'll
guy.
do a piece of pumpkin pie.
Let's say I
whole
would take
pumpkin
I would
pie.
take a pecan pie over,
oh yeah, any
over
day,
a pumpkin pie.
any day.
Not me.
Apple pies, apple and cherry are obviously I really like apple pie, especially like the crumble or the cinnamon top. Cherry pie is really good too, as long as it's not pitted cherries. I mean, I don't know if I had a bad experience with this pit and a cherry or whatever, but I'm like
Terrified.
always afraid really commit to a cherry pie. I'm afraid I'm gonna chip a tooth. But some of the other desserts are pretty spectacular too. Like just like Mississippi brown cake or sheet cake or homemade candies. They start
Pineapple upside down.
pineapple upside down cake.
We just always there was always my great grandmother was a pie baker,
Yeah.
so it was just always about.
And you never
the pie.
thought to introduce me?
She died before we met, Ryan. She died in 1988.
there are ways to communicate beyond the veil. Doug.
Actually, I'm thinking about trying to get her recipes.
With a Ouija board.
So,
How much paprika, Grandma? God, why are you putting paprika in a pie?
It's a special Ouija board that has measurements on it.
Yeah.
and one
Fourth
thing,
of a teaspoon.
as far as dishes though, too. Well, I guess this would maybe be a main. We always did. My other great grandmother, and I do this a lot too. Fried chicken, and of course, homemade yeast rolls.
Oh,
Yeah.
the rolls. We left the rolls off
My
of there.
Uncle Ralph is the roll
The yeast
connoisseur.
roll. Yeah.
He's the. I never had fried chicken though.
Yeah, I'm not
I
fried
can't.
chicken.
I can't
do.
make fried chicken. I cannot make.
Fried chicken.
These hands.
They look like such big,
they
strong
look like
hands.
such big, strong hands. You got to the Never Ending Story reference before I could. Cannot make fried chicken. In fact, I have a heck of a time with even just fried fish. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if I don't wait long enough, or I'm terrified it's never going to be done, or it's just so much easier to buy like Lee's famous recipe or Richard's chicken.
I've never tried to make fried chicken. So
Really?
I don't know.
I want to so bad. That the whole like meat on the bone thing was caused because I was trying to cut up a chicken to fry it myself.
Side story here. I made chicken noodles the other night, and I bought a whole chicken because that's the best way to make chicken noodles is just roast the whole chicken and then
Or boil the whole chicken.
yeah. I just roast it and but I
How do you make the juice?
huh?
How do you make like my grandma used to make her own chicken stock by boiling
Yeah.
the chicken.
Yeah.
Well, I roast the chicken and then I save any of the
dripping.
Well, the thing is, I use all the chicken, so I really
Yes.
don't need because I use all the dark meat and stuff like that in it too. So, I mean, I put the whole chicken. I get every piece of meat I can into the chicken and noodles.
What we
So,
will do
but-
is the same thing. Is take the first night, bake a whole chicken, and we'll eat
Right.
like the leg and the thigh, and then pull the breast meat off and take everything else, throw it in the pot, boil the bones and the meat that's left over, and you get all of the fat, the schmaltz from it, and you can use that as the base
You
for
look
your.
cool, and you can get that off of there. But I did that. But what's funny is I cut it open, and Sarah kind of gets freaked out with like whole chickens and the whole turkeys. Like she kind of and when she started freaking out about it, I'm like, look, and I was holding it, and like I'm holding it out, and just like maybe a half hour before, I had Jonah in my arms, and I had it like under the wings, and I was kind of holding on to it. And I didn't think about the packet inside.
Oh,
of it.
yeah?
And I was taking it. I was going,
Flop.
look, Sarah, look, and I was shaking over the sink, and it goes, bleh, and just like I was like, whoa, oh, and then it kind of like dawned on me what I was holding in my hands as I was holding this dead chicken, and it was like. I kind of had that little freak out moment that I was like, well, let me just cook her up,
Yeah.
I got over it pretty quick, but I kind of had that one moment where I was like, this is kind of gross, really, when you think about it. But
Yeah.
Just days ago, it was sitting around pecking, not having any problems at all.
Probably
Did you
longer than
guys
that.
did you ever do the fruit cakes? Anybody ever do a fruit cake?
No, I've
Is
never
that
made
more
a
of
fruit cake or never made.
Christmas?
I think it's more of a Christmas
Not even a
thing. and
Christmas
it's-
thing
and
for
it's
me.
nothing. It's always becomes. I think in our lifetimes, it's always been more of a joke than
Yeah.
a reality.
I've had
I-
some good fruit
I do
cakes.
know that my grandma used to make a very good like spice / fruit cake that she would give out.
Yeah.
My grandma
but-
make rum balls. I don't know what's all in them, but
What?
it has rum in it.
Oh, rum balls. Okay, got it. Sorry, I missed that one.
Not gumballs.
No, I thought you said rub balls. I was like,
Oh.
I don't know what that is, but I
It's a
don't.
truffle confection of sweet, dense cake or biscuit material flavored with chocolate and rum.
Yeah, that's cool.
They're size of a golf ball and often coated in chocolate sprinkles,
Cool.
coconut or cocoa. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think of really dessert. I mean, yeah, it was always pies and the sweet potato casserole is kind of it's a side, but it's also a dessert. So
But it's really
Kind of a
good.
dual
It's
roll.
really good with like a quarter of a deviled egg mixed with it. All right.
gross.
Last question here, and I don't really want to talk about it because it's still too recent in my mind here. But maybe you guys can help me talk through this. Liquor. booze, drink.
Never had it growing up.
I understand you never had it growing up, Doug. Are you saying even the adults?
No.
There was
Nope.
just didn't have a place at your table.
No booze at the table.
My grandpa Jerry despises alcohol because my great grandfather was an alcoholic, so he despises it. If anyone even thinks about drinking in his house, he gets mad.
But it's your house.
Doesn't happen. And if it happened here, he probably wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
But it's not a thing here. And then on the other side of the family, you know what's funny is I look back on pictures when I was a kid of my grandpa in some of these pictures, and I always thought about him smoking all the time. But I look back at a lot of these pictures when I'm younger, like 2 and 3, and every picture he's got a beer in his hand too, and I didn't even realize it, you know. And you don't think about, because he stopped drinking at a certain age, and I just, by that time, maybe that's when my like cognitive memories start kicking in. But yeah, it's just it wasn't a thing there either, because I had uncles that were through AA and stuff like that. So
It's a thing now.
yeah.
Well, I know it is now. But like me growing up, I'm pretty sure there was always a box of wine. Like there was always wine at my grandmother's table, and then of course there was always beer available for the guys. And of course at my mom and dad's house now, every family get together, there's always beer available, and there's wine coolers or some drink for the ladies if they wish to have it. But
wine coolers?
Well, I mean, like
Who drinks wine coolers anymore?
We
or people that don't want to drink beer, I guess. I don't know.
yeah.
But there's never been a bottle of wine at my mom and dad's house. But
See, that's what I do now for the Chris Thanksmas. I have all the leftover liquor from everything else from the year.
Right.
Throw that out, but I usually will try to go buy, 4 or 5 bottles of wine, for people. So, because that's more of a laid back drinking. Like the Rieslings are always a huge, they're a huge hit. So like a Zinfandel, a couple Rieslings, a Chardonnay, and then maybe a red. There's usually somebody there that'll like a Merlot or something. A Shiraz.
I have no idea what anything it is you just said.
Really?
A Riesling is.
I
you know what a Riesling
two
is,
like
right?
clear, sparkly sort of wines,
Sweet
and
wines.
one red wine. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. I mean, it's what I don't know that I'm going to do anything like that, but I was just curious to see what your guys' stance were on it. At least growing
Well,
up.
it depends on if you got drinkers or not in your family. I mean,
Your family would be fine with it.
Well, I know
I
everybody.
think it would be fine with yours.
I think it would probably go over well with some of them.
I think if there was Chardonnay available when growing up, my grandpa would have. He liked the Chardonnay, so
Yeah.
But no, that was a no growing up. No alcohol. So
All right. Well, that's interesting. Like I said, I don't know where I stand on that yet.
cheesecake.
Do you
Oh, cheesecake. Oh, cheesecake.
now? What kind of now? There's different types of cheesecakes, and we have this discussion in our house because my mom makes a cheesecake that's like a Jell-O no-bake cheesecake.
No,
So
that's
good.
not a cheesecake.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I mean, really, technically it is. I mean, it is like probably 3/4 of cream cheese, but
Yeah, that's not a cheesecake. I mean, a real cheesecake.
like New York style
New
cheesecake,
York style, actual, real, bake
which
it.
is fantastic. It's good, but in my family, her cheesecake was the cheesecake to have. So
Yeah, the I know the one. The what do they use the
that's what I'm gonna bring to your thing.
The- I got a lot of those because last year I think we had 2 or 3 of those that people brought. So people eat them, so that's all I care about.
Damn
as long
it.
as they get eaten.
I'll bring something else then.
So
I'll make an apple pie.
yeah, whatever. Bring whatever you want, man.
I'll buy a bag of chips.
Bag of chips.
Fritos.
Get some Fritos.
We
Bring
a
some
bowl of chili.
guacamole.
Courtney made
Some
this. Courtney made that this caramel apple cheesecake last year.
Oh, yeah.
my god! It
Oh,
was
that
so
was good. Was it last year that Carissa made? No, she made the Oreo balls last year. The year before that, she made those little tarts.
That was at the 4th of July party.
Oh yeah.
Actually, no, I think they were so popular that she actually made them again.
Man, they were good.
For that. Yeah, she made little
Oh.
mini fruit tarts.
Paul, we were talking about Carissa making all this stuff at work the other day, and Paul kind of gave us crap about it. And he says, you know, it makes it look like a war zone in my kitchen when she makes this stuff. He goes, you guys can have her make all this stuff for you, but you have to come clean my kitchen because she's just everywhere and anywhere with it.
Yeah,
it's really funny.
You know, and then we didn't do a lot of the candy type stuff. You know, sometimes you get like
I just remember chocolate covered
walnut
cherries.
or the Buckeyes. You know, things like that.
My grandma makes Buckeyes for Christmas. She would do them for Christmas.
So, but yeah, Christmas I think was more of a candy holiday than a.
Okay, so
Thanksgiving.
4th of July, obviously, we end with fireworks and you know there's picnics and so forth. Christmas, there's all sorts of activities that lead up into around Christmas of driving to go get lights or shopping or wrapping.
Well, you start off
unwrapping.
with the Thanksgiving Day parade.
So that's exactly what I was going to get to. Is so what? How do we spend our Thanksgiving?
I spend the morning angry because all I want to do is see floats, and all I got to hear is that stupid Matt Lauer talking constantly.
Change the channel. It's on more than one channel.
13 always has the best shots, though.
What about Al Roker? Is he on the same as Matt Lauer?
Smack him. Both of them. Get him out of here.
Play your fabulous Thanksgiving Day playlist that you've been playing for us.
Yeah.
And just turn down the sound.
See, what's funny is I could play this playlist, and all my grandparents would be happy about the music that would be played.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's Fallout music, man.
It's Fallout music. A whole new generation. A whole new generation. It's gonna...
Yeah. Do you do music at your Thanksgiving?
Well, at my parents' house, it's always way too loud and chaotic. At my in-laws' house, it's just
too quiet.
It's just too quiet. But growing up, like I said, my grandmother had a huge record player off to one side of the dining room, and almost every I think it was like my grandpa's job was like go start the music. It just low and slow and would just sort of come through the speakers that were around the dinner table and it just sort of helped smooth or fill in the empty spaces between conversations and. I don't know. It was just
one thing I never had to worry about.
It was always a really classy sort of thing. Why?
There were never lulls in the conversation.
Well, I don't.
You've seen my family, right?
I'm not saying there was lulls.
My mom,
but just sort
the
of
football
like,
mind.
As long.
My grandfather.
No, I'm just saying, like when the dinner would start to wrap up and it would slow down. You know what I mean? Like in my dad's side of the family, most of them were smokers. So like it was like this, the cigarette, the ashtray would move from the kitchen into the dining room, and
that's back when people still smoked in their houses.
Ours always ended after dinner. It moved to a board game that would happen on the table. The women would go do the dishes. To be honest, that's what would happen. My aunt and a few other women would go clean up. They would go clean up, and then the kids would play for a little while, and then it would move to either cards for just the adults, or the kids and the adults all get into a board game.
See, I agree. That's the way it always was growing up.
Phase 10.
I always felt like, we're not allowed to play that because Angie gets too mad. But I don't know.
She gets mad at tic-tac-toe.
It's a long story. It's not really that long. She's just way too competitive. So if I skip her one too many times because she's in the lead by like 100 points, I'm being a horrible husband, even though she's in the lead by 100 points. But I remember that too. Like at both sides of my grandparents, it didn't matter. Even if it was just Sunday dinner at my grandma Harvard City's, my mom's mom and dad. After dinner, the sisters would all get together and they would go and they would
clean up
and wash dishes, and to me I didn't feel like it was derogatory or sexist or gender based or anything like that, because they were spending time together and they enjoyed it.
Right, they hadn't realized their oppression yet.
And it's you know what's funny? A little story about that at my grandpa Jim's that happened, and the first Thanksgiving that my brother's ex-wife came to. What did she do when that time came? She went in and helped him do the dishes, and it like impressed my grandpa beyond no relief. Like he was just super impressed with that idea that she went in there and did that. You know what I told Sarah the first Thanksgiving she showed up for? Listen, when it's time to do dishes, you go do the dishes. I'm not telling you because I want you to go do the dishes. I'm telling you, you want to impress my grandpa, you go in there and you start helping with the dishes. She did it. Same thing. He instantly impressed. with her helping with the
See, and that's the thing is like even when I go just to regular dinner at my in-laws, like everybody will just sit around the table and I'll be like looking at my wife like, this is your house, that's your mother, this is the place where you grew up. I don't know where the dishes go.
Right.
We can't eat all this food and just expect your your mother in her older age, you're old enough to be your mother age, to do all this by herself. Why are you still sitting here? But no, she'll just sit there. And eventually I've gotten to the point where I get up and do the dishes. And the whole time in my mind, I'm just thinking like, I don't understand. Because if we're all doing it, it's fun, you know? It's not, I mean, it's not sitting there watching football fun, but it's we're talking and we're, enjoying each other's company and so forth. But when we just leave it to just a few, it becomes a real chore. So at my parents' house, it's been, my cousins have always stepped up and got sort of the ball rolling with that. But it is weird that my wife and my sister-in-law will choose to go and just sit on the couch and look at their phones and then get up and help out. It's become
that's how it always was at my house. And it still is my mom and my Aunt Chris and my grandmother, when we would do holidays at my grandparents' house, they would all do the dishes. If we went to the big family gatherings, before we started going like to Lake Placid where everybody brought, disposable stuff, but other things like that, the women all would go do the dishes, and then there was no
me it's like
thing about it.
Even if men or women or whatever, you're there, you're eating, you're partaking. The thing is like the last thing you want to do is leave all this work for the people that have invited you there. It's like, you're just sort of helping put things back the way that it was. There's still going to be plenty to clean up and do after you leave. Trust me, I'm sure.
Well, typically what would happen is that they'd be doing that, but the men would be putting, we'd have tables out. We'd put the tables, put up the chairs, do all of that stuff. So, I mean...
Which would get done much quicker than the dishes, of course.
Right.
But then, we're carrying stuff to the car or, setting things up or just visiting and such. I'll be honest, like the burden to entertain at those larger functions a lot of times falls on like a male, essentially the guys getting together because we don't want to be there. Like I guess I'm generalizing here, but in my opinion, most of the time we're done, we're ready to go, we're ready to move on, long before the female has done.
That never.
Really?
No,
it wouldn't either.
My grandpa would want to stay for. I mean, we'd be the last people to go.
That's weird. That's interesting.
That's how I am.
We
too.
can't.
I get yelled at from Sarah because I'm normally one of the last people to leave things.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
I'm the same way.
In my experience, all my male role models were much different. Like we always wanted to be there. We always wanted to do that. But when dinner was over and everything, it was time to go. It was time to go. And mom may not be done helping clean up the kitchen, or she may want to talk to her sister some more or something like that. But it was time to go. It was time to go. And I don't know if maybe I just inherited sort of that sort of mindset. But like when it's done, we're ready to go.
Yeah,
so,
you did.
But, I mean, honestly, like the entertainment was always driven by like
conversation.
Well, conversation, but like the kids too. Playing it's time to play games. And everybody the adults would just get up and move along, and and even that, like last year that happened too at my Christmas party, like with all those kids playing the Nintendo games in the living room. I mean. The kids would play, and then all of a sudden, then the adults were like, "Okay, now you guys go sit down over here. Now we want to start playing the whatever they were playing."
Oh, I know.
Smash
the Wii U.
The Wii U, and and then you eat, you conversate, and then move into Cards Against Humanity. So
in the garage.
No, it was in the back room.
Oh, that must have been after we left.
Yeah, we had. Were you there when we played that?
Yes.
Yeah, we played at pretty late into the night. We had probably, 12, 13 people back there.
Yeah.
So
game gets a little unruly with that many
especially when you start drinking.
Yeah.
So
okay, so it starts with the parade, cooking and feasting and visiting takes up the bulk of your day, and it sounds like board games are just games. How you guys end it?
And I got lucky because
does football never factored into any one of your guys' things? Or
I mean, it did. My grandpa was a huge football fan, so I mean, he was a Bears fan.
But I mean that was on.
Yeah.
Right.
That was not like a focal point of everything that particular game.
Right.
So
I think maybe because I don't know if my grandfather was a Lions fan or what, but I always feel like that we always had to sort of that was a focal point of some of our dinners.
See, mine went from watching the parade.
So your grandfather was disappointed.
Always.
Mine went from watching the parade because living so close to where my grandpa lived. He lived on the highway there, remember by the junkyard?
Yeah.
When we grew up, and I lived on Cleveland Street, which was just down the road. We could go there anytime we wanted to. So we would watch the parade, and I would just go there. I would go to my grandpa's house before my parents would even get there. I'd say, hey, I'm going to grandpa's, okay. And I would leave and I would walk there because it was blocks away, close enough to do that. And I would get there before anyone else and hang out and just be there before it. So it was nice to have those times. But that would be my memories of Thanksgiving. Is always just kind of getting there before everyone else. Being the first one there and normally one of the last people to leave.
Yeah. Half the time I lived there, so
Yeah.
it was just no big deal. But no, I mean that was pretty much the flow of the day. Those were your staples.
Yeah.
The parade in the morning, the football game.
Has anybody ever done the shopping?
No.
What, Black Friday?
Yeah.
I've done it twice. I did it one time with my Uncle Dale.
Well, let's be honest. Growing up,
That wasn't.
that
a
was
thing.
not a thing.
Not a thing at all.
What, Gray Thursday or whatever they're calling it now, where it has slowly bled further and
I
further.
refuse to go.
I really
shopping
like
on
the
Thanksgiving.
attack on Christmas this year that I've seen, where some major retailers have decided not to open at all on Friday
Thanksgiving.
or Thanksgiving.
The what?
The sort of the
He meant to say Thanksgiving. He said Christmas.
well, no, it's the attack on Christmas.
How's that an attack on Christmas?
Pushing the Christmas and the Christmas window back to at least Saturday.
Well, I think that's a good thing.
I think it's a great thing. Like I said, I'm a big fan of.
I don't think that's an attack on Christmas, though.
Well, the war on Christmas has been a hashtag on Twitter. I mean, it's where people sort of post things where.
That's stupid, though. That's because those damn cups.
I don't know. That's dumb to me too. But
Yeah, I don't know how they could
just like
that.
there's like been.
Well, like REI said,
They're closed.
no, don't even show up. Our people
They're
are
closed
taking
Thursday and Friday.
Right, and then there's several stores that I've seen have sort of followed suit. Like Nordstrom's had a big ad in their paper that said, "Don't worry, we will not be playing Christmas music or decorating for Christmas until after." And whatever the date is, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, they said we believe in celebrating one holiday at a time. Like I want more of that mentality. I think.
I guess I don't have as much problem if they're decorating around. If they're decorating the week of Thanksgiving, that's not a big deal. And if they're getting ready for it, that's to me is not a big deal. But I like the idea of remember what thing like. When I was a little kid, people decorated for Thanksgiving. My grandmother was one of those people that every holiday had its own set of decorations, and after Halloween, the pumpkins and all that stuff would come down, and then usually about the week later, the Thanksgiving stuff would go up, and it would stay up until usually the following week after, and everybody was like that, and Thanksgiving was something that you celebrated in the school, and people, I don't know, it was not clouded over by this
Retail nasty.
I understand the perspective of the retailers. If I close down, if I make a conscientious decision to take a stand and say, okay, I'm Target, we'll just use Target for example. Okay, Target, we believe in our employees. We want them to have a day off. We want to keep this a special day for the family, for people to be thankful. If Walmart's open, you're going to have all of those dollars that are still going to be seeking to get out and get the best deal possible, and
I just
you're giving that advantage to your competitor. So I understand the pressure retailers are on, but until there's a concerted movement of people that keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing to where we get back to the point where all the retailers are like, okay, Thanksgiving is, we're going to at least let people have Thanksgiving, and we're not going to start until 6 o'clock 7 o'clock the following morning. Then we'll start the sales on Black Friday.
And it won't ever get that way because
I think
sadly,
it will.
No, it won't. Because the demise of the family. That it's weird to go to this route, but that's true. I think it's because the fall of like the family structure in America that will never come again.
Well,
because it comes down to the fact that people don't have these family gatherings because it doesn't happen anymore. Because it's a little thing here, a little thing here, a little thing here.
Actually,
I think Black Friday has become just as much of a family function as anything else. I see large families going out together.
I think, in a weird way, it's the rise of the entitled whiner generation that is going to make Black Friday be tainted because they're like, no, these people, they're underpaid, they don't make $15 an hour, and they should at least have this one day with their family and workers' rights, blah blah blah. Fight the power. And then
I think you're even taking it another way. It's just like I don't want to have to do it on this. I don't want to fight. The prices should always be at this time.
Right.
And in fact, to the point that they're not fiscally conservative enough to even, it's not worth it to them to put up with the added stress or headache.
Right.
I mean, for the people that I know that do it, it is a game to do it. It is an activity.
But don't you think?
Do it.
But and what if I'm reading what you're saying right, Doug? Is that so? You think that these people that are wanting the $15 an hour will kill the working on Thanksgiving because they'll start whining for the Thanksgiving day off?
they're crying for the Thanksgiving day and pretty much the following. Those 2 days people should have with which in a way, I agree.
It's like Boxing Day.
But their motivations when you're talking about the decline of the family as being the reason, I don't necessarily know if that's so much it or a little bit, but the rise of what I feel is like the entitled whiny generation that doesn't basically doesn't want to have to go to work and work a crappy job on that, which nobody wants to have to work on that day.
Have you read I'm guessing, I know Doug has probably read this stuff, but Ryan, like the better deals aren't even on that day. The better deals actually come almost like 2 weeks before Christmas. Is like structurally, like business wise, that's the lull.
That's the
in the
peak
sales
when they have the opportunity to basically unload their merchandise the most.
But it's the lull in sales too, because people have all made these large purchases, then it drops and then it comes back. But that 2 weeks before is like the lull time, so that's when you can actually get the best deals across the board.
But they hook people with
the doorbusters,
the doorbuster deals.
That are junk.
Yeah, I know. I have 2 of those TVs that have broken. Yes.
So they hook them, and then come in and buy your $99 50 whatever inch TV that's gonna fall apart in a year.
Right.
But I get a 50-inch TV for a year for less than $100.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah. The throwaway society.
Yeah, our consumerism.
But but then you get in there and then you start paying. You do that and you pick up your 15 $5 waffle makers.
Yeah. Or your 15 $3 DVDs. But then you start looking like, oh well, look, these are only $7. Let me grab 5 of those.
You fight to be one of the 10 people that can get the crazy deal on a Xbox or a PlayStation.
I think
I think that's
where they get you, because they get it in your mind that that's what you're going to buy.
Right.
And then if you're not one of the first 10, you spend the extra money anyway, so that
you're already there, so you might as well buy something.
Yeah, I'm already here, so I
want to get all my shopping done now. So
I really
wish get what I wanted.
They need to come up with better ways to do some.
I just think with the rise of online retailing, there's no reason for them to even open on Friday. That can all be automated, and everybody can stay home.
Well, more and more. I mean, every year it takes just a little bit more. Amazon takes a little chunk. Walmart.
We had a little. I mean, I talked to my team at work about, hey, can we use this as like an alternative drop-off spot for Amazon? Because I don't want to send this stuff to my house.
Right.
Because then people will see.
Yeah.
So can I drop it off there? And I guess people did that a lot last year too. My issue is that my little elf is there too, so I don't know how I get it out of there to go home. But
speaking of elves, my elf will show up the day after Thanksgiving.
I'm not sure when mine will. Mine
Probably
typically
around
comes.
that time.
Mine typically comes with the Christmas tree.
A little demon.
Sandy. Our Sandy, we actually have 2 Sandys.
You found the second.
We found
Sandy?
the other Sandy.
You found Sandy too?
Sandy disappeared. Couldn't find her. Creeped me out because we couldn't find her because we looked everywhere.
Thought you found it up in by a gun or something.
It was
in your
no, it was,
closet.
no, it was in the filing cabinet. That I not because that must have not got put away with everything else.
Yeah, because it sticks around.
Yeah.
Or no, because it goes early.
It goes early. The elf leaves Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a friend who listens to the podcast that doesn't probably need to know all this stuff. So we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
So they come and go, you know.
But the whole Black Friday thing, it's very fascinating to me, the different forces that are at play to try, because in my heart of hearts, I like the idea of there being a couple days of the year where everybody can get a break and go to a friend or go to their family somewhere and hopefully have a good, even when things are as crappy as they may be, you're working a crap job, you're barely making it, but there's at least one or 2 days of reprieve that you can get. I like that idea, for the average, worker.
But then your economic side comes
right
in.
But then the understanding of the business, and all the forces that are out there. But I think
I just
Ryan,
understand why it can't just be Black Saturday. Why can't it just be Black Saturday?
I mean, growing up as a kid,
because some evil company said, I'm going to open on Friday. And then everyone went, well, crap, now I have
But see,
to.
I remember as a kid, like, the whole concept of Black Friday when I was little that wasn't even any thing. It may have happened, but I remember going to the mall.
Do you think it's because of our economic standpoint at that time?
I think that
economically,
I think that they've realized. I think that they've realized that they know they have that window that they want to, and I think that's the thing they've tried to do is they try to shrink that window down as much as they possibly can to try to get those feet in the door, as many people as they possibly can before the end of the year. And I'm not sure what all financial reporting happens, but most of the time that month of December is when most companies, a lot of retailers, get into the black.
Yeah.
So if they can do really well there, that's going to obviously help investors,
right?
Have some confidence. Oh yeah, Walmart had a really great Black Friday weekend. But I think, Ryan, the point of online world, Cyber Monday and all of that, as each year it continues to take more and more and more, I think it makes the concept of a Black Friday become more and more obsolete. So I just hope that it doesn't bleed the other way, and I'm starting to see that now of Black Friday deals all month long.
Right.
Like at Lowe's, I've been seeing those on their website. They're average, all month long. You're going to get the deals. So,
or like Black Friday in the summer at Lowe's.
Well, they tried to do that gimmick with Christmas in July. You remember that? That was real popular back, I don't know, in the late '90s, kind of a thing. So, but I like the idea of there being those special days that people can get together and celebrate things that really matter, and quite frankly, it would probably do all a lot better if we'd just save a little bit of money and not buy as much junk that really doesn't matter in the long run. Go out and buy something for your kid that, buy him some paint supplies and an easel and something like that, and
so that they have a marketable skill when the robots take over.
Exactly. There you go.
And you know what? Thanksgiving, special day. Recording this podcast, that's a special day too.
Is it?
This has been a special day.
Yeah. Has it made you feel nostalgic?
I'm trying to figure out how I can get tablecloths.
Amazon.
There we go. Before Thanksgiving.
Alibaba. I need to try Alibaba. Is it cheaper?
Most of Alibaba that you're going to see is bulk purchase.
Yeah.
stuff. So like if you owned a restaurant, Alibaba's the way to go.
Actually,
you can buy 100 dinner plates and stuff like that.
Actually, I think I need to go to Overstock because of what their CEO is doing for their employees.
What?
Oh, you didn't read about that? Their CEO, in case of financial crisis, he's purchased enough storage food for all of his employees to be able to survive like a year, and gold bars for his employees so he can continue to pay them gold in case there's ever a financial collapse.
So he's not worried at all about the fact that the internet and the infrastructure of our country will fall to pieces, and the need for an online.
Well, no, he has all of that because he wants to take care of his people. I mean, if anything never did happen, they could survive as a community, I guess.
I thought you were saying like he would be, all right, continue to come to work and fill orders. Here's your gold packet.
No.
Okay.
So.
Well, that's pretty cool. So that's pretty special. This podcast is pretty special. You guys are very special. If you want to follow special people, you can do so at Twitter. You can follow me at Buffalo Cast. You can follow Mikey at Fuman2, 2 O's, 2 N's, and the number 2. You can follow Doug at Refried Evil. You can follow the show at BOBcast Nation. Follow us at our home of the web at bobcast.com or buffalobrotherhood.com. Thank you, me, saying it to me. Thank you, Doug, saying it to us. And you can follow us at facebook.com/Buffalo Brotherhood. If you haven't checked us out on YouTube, all these shows are pretty much going up live. Not live, but as soon as the release date of the podcast. In fact, I'm thinking this show will be out before the audio podcast is released for your holes, just because once I sit down to edit videos, I get as many of them done as I can. So please have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Travel well, travel safe, eat lots. Have a great week. I know it's kind of rushed. I apologize.
You want to go through it again?
You want to fade it out? No, we can do it. Just be safe, everybody.
Fade to black.
Enjoy your time with your family.